You know that feeling when you find something you were never supposed to see? When you realize that once you read it, everything changes forever? That happened to me when I found my brother's diary 3 weeks ago. The last entry was dated 2 days before he died, and it was addressed to me. I found my brother's final diary entry on a Tuesday. It was raining. I had been avoiding his room for 4 months, but that day I finally walked in to pack his things away. The room still smelled like him. That cologne he always wore. His bed was unmade. A coffee mug sat on his desk. Everything looked like he had just stepped out, but he was not coming back. He had been gone for 4 months since the accident. At least, that is what we called it. I started packing mechanically. His clothes, his books, not letting myself think or feel. Then I stripped the sheets from his bed, and I saw it. A corner of black leather under the mattress. His diary. I knew I should not read it, but he was gone. What did privacy matter now? I needed to hear his voice again, even if it was just words on a page. So I opened it. I skipped through the entries, looking for something specific. Looking for answers. Why had he been so distant those last few months? Why had he stopped calling me back? Why did he seem like he was drowning in something he could not name? And then I found it. The last entry, 2 days before he died. At the top of the page, in letters pressed hard into the paper, it said, "My name to my brother. If you are reading this, I am already gone." My hands started shaking. This was not just a diary entry. This was a goodbye. This was a confession. He wrote about how tired he was. Not physically, emotionally. How he had been pretending to be okay for so long that he forgot what okay even felt like. How every morning he woke up and put on a mask, smiled at people, laughed at jokes, went through the motions, but inside he was screaming. He wrote about how heavy everything felt. How even breathing sometimes felt like too much effort. How he looked at his life and could not see a future in it. And then he wrote about me. About how he wished he could talk to me, but he did not know how. About how we used to be so close when we were kids, but somewhere along the way, we grew apart. About how he saw me building my life, getting engaged, moving forward, and he felt stuck, like he was failing at being a person. He wrote about the night I canceled dinner with him. 3 weeks before he died. I had plans to meet him at our favorite restaurant, but I canceled last minute for a work event. I texted him I was sorry. He sent back a thumbs up emoji. I thought everything was fine. But in the diary, he wrote about how he had been planning to tell me that night. How he had rehearsed what he would say. How he was finally going to be honest about how much he was struggling. How he needed help. But I never showed up. And he took that as a sign. He wrote, "I guess I am not worth his time anymore. I guess no one really cares if I am here or not." I want to pause here and ask you something. Have you ever loved someone and realized too late that you did not really see them? That you missed the fact that they were falling apart right in front of you? If you have ever felt that guilt, that crushing weight of knowing you could have been there but you were not, leave a comment that just says, "I see you now." Just those 3 words. Because when you write that, someone else carrying the same guilt will read it and know they are not alone. And maybe that is what we all need most. Reading those words felt like being stabbed. Each sentence was a blade. I wanted to scream. I wanted to go back in time and shake myself and tell myself to go to that dinner. To look at him, really look at him. To ask if he was okay and wait for a real answer instead of accepting the lie. But I did not do that. None of us did. We all just assumed he was fine because he said he was fine. We took his smile at face value. We did not push. We did not ask the hard questions. We let him suffer in silence because it was easier than facing the uncomfortable truth. And now he is gone. And I am left holding his words, his pain, his truth. And there is nothing I can do except carry it. The entry went on. He wrote about how he did not blame me. How he knew I had my own life. But understanding does not erase the hurt. He wrote about how he felt invisible. How he could be in a room full of people and still feel completely alone. How he tried to reach out in small ways, little comments, little hints, but no one ever picked up on them. Or maybe they did and just did not know what to do. He wrote about the accident. And that is when I realized it was not an accident at all. He wrote about how he had been thinking about it for weeks, how he had been planning it, how he knew exactly what he was going to do and when. He wrote about the relief he felt once he made the decision, how the weight lifted just a little because he finally had a way out. He wrote that he did not want to hurt anyone, but he could not keep living in pain just to spare other people from grief. He wrote that he hoped we would understand one day, that he hoped we would forgive him, that he hoped we would remember the good parts of him and not just the way he left. But how could I do that? How could I remember the good parts when all I could see now was the pain he was hiding? The last line of the entry destroyed me. He wrote, "I love you, brother. I always have. I just wish I had been brave enough to tell you how much I was hurting. Maybe things would have been different. Maybe not. But at least you would have known. I am sorry I was not stronger. I am sorry I could not stay. I hope you live a beautiful life. Tell Mom I tried. Tell her I really did. But some battles are fought in silence, and some wars are lost before anyone even knows they have begun." I sat there on his bed and I sobbed. Not quiet tears. I sobbed like something inside me had broken open. All the guilt, all the regret, all the what ifs. What if I had gone to that dinner? What if I had called him more? What if I had asked how he really was? What if I had paid attention? Would he still be here? Or was this always going to happen, and I am just torturing myself with questions that have no answers? I read that entry over and over until I had memorized every word, until his handwriting was burned into my brain. And each time I read it, I discovered something new. A cry for help, disguised as casual observation. He had been screaming, and I had been deaf. He had been drowning, and I had been standing on the shore, waving. If you have ever lost someone and felt like their story deserved to be heard, then this channel is for you. Every story here is for the people who carry grief in silence. For the ones who wish they had said something, done something, been something more. If this story made you feel less alone, subscribe. Because you deserve a space where your emotions are not too much, where your grief is not a burden. This channel is that space. The guilt is suffocating. It sits on my chest every morning when I wake up. It follows me through every moment of happiness. Because how can I be happy when he is not here? How can I laugh when he will never laugh again? I told my mother. I showed her the diary. I thought maybe it would give her closure, but it destroyed her. She blamed herself. She cried for days. She kept saying she should have known, and I had no words to comfort her because I felt the exact same way. We were both drowning in guilt. My father does not know. I could not tell him. He is already barely holding it together. If he knew it was not an accident, it would kill him. So I carry that secret now. I carry my brother's pain and my own guilt, and the weight of a truth that no one else can know. Some nights I go into his room and sit on his bed and talk to him. I tell him about my day. I tell him the things I wish I had said when he was alive. I apologize over and over, even though I know he cannot hear me. But I do it anyway, because it is the only way I know how to keep him close. The only way to tell him that he mattered, that his life was important, that I am sorry I did not show him that when it counted. I think about that dinner constantly. What would have happened if I had gone? If I had sat across from him and listened, really listened? Would he have told me? Would I have understood? Would I have known what to say? I will never know. And that is the cruelest part of grief, the not knowing. The what-ifs that circle your mind, the questions with no answers, the guilt with no resolution. I carry his diary with me now. I keep it close. I read it when I miss him, when I need to hear his voice, when I need to remember that he was real, that his pain was real, that his love was real, and that I failed him. Not intentionally, not maliciously, but I failed him nonetheless. I was not there when he needed me most, and now I have to live with that. I have to wake up every day and carry that weight and pretend I am okay when I am not, just like he did. I wonder if this is my punishment, to feel what he felt, to understand too late what it is like to walk around with a pain so deep that no one else can see it, to smile when you are dying inside. Maybe this is how I learn, through suffering, through regret, through the unbearable weight of a truth that arrived too late to save him, but just in time to haunt me forever. I think about the last time I saw him. A family barbecue. He seemed fine. He laughed. He joked. He acted normal. But now, looking back, I see the cracks. The way his smile did not quite reach his eyes. The way he stood a little apart from everyone. The way he left early, said he was tired, hugged everyone goodbye. I hugged him. I told him I loved him. He said he loved me too. And then he walked away. That was it. That was the last time I saw my brother alive. A casual goodbye. A routine hug. Nothing special. Just another moment that I thought would go on forever. But they did not. They stopped. Abruptly. Final. And now, I am left with a diary entry that explains everything and nothing. That gives me answers, but no peace. That shows me his pain, but offers no way to fix it. I cannot bring him back. I cannot undo my mistakes. I cannot rewrite history. All I can do is carry this. Carry him. Carry the memory of who he was and the guilt of who I was not. I wish I could say I have found peace. I wish I could say I have forgiven myself, but I have not. Time has just made the pain familiar. I have just learned to live with it, to function despite it, to breathe around it. Some people say that grief gets easier, but I think we just get bigger. We expand around the grief until it is no longer the only thing we are. But it is always there, a permanent part of us, a scar that never fully heals. I carry my brother with me now in ways I never did when he was alive. I think about him constantly. I talk to him in my head. I imagine what he would say about things. I keep him alive in my mind because that is the only place he exists anymore. And maybe that is enough. Maybe that is all any of us can do for the people we have lost. Remember them, honor them, carry them forward. But God, I wish I had done better. I wish I had been better. I wish I had loved him louder when I had the chance. I found my brother's final diary entry 3 weeks ago. I read his last words. I learned his deepest secret. And now I live with the knowledge that I could have saved him, but I did not. Not because I did not love him, but because I did not see him, and that is a truth I will carry for the rest of my life. Some letters are never meant to be answered, only held.